Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the old MCU crew. It's been a tough week to not chit-chat about this show. I think me and Jesse texted each other, and we both were just like, shut the fuck up. Stay. Wait till
Someone
Monday.
texted me right away, and then I had to be like, no, save it.
Yeah,
Podcast.
it's true. He was also a whatever accent that was. That Russian? Was that your Russian accent? Are you practicing for your Black
super
Widow?
Secret agent.
Okay.
That was my agent accent.
Okay.
You know, like, do not talk. It's also like a little Antonio Banderas.
A little bit.
Like,
yeah.
Don't worry, I am a bumblebee. Let us play with bumblebees.
Wait, is Antonio? Why is he a bumblebee?
He's the bumblebee. Antonio Banderas is the bumblebee that sells you drugs.
What?
Does no one know this?
Bronze, do you know what he's talking about?
I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean that's typically true in general with Jesse,
Google
but like
Antonio Banderas bee, and you will be like, "Oh my god, Antonio Banderas is a bee that sells you drugs." I'm not making this up.
From the Nasonex bee commercial?
Yes.
Oh boy.
You thought I was playing. Look at him.
I mean, you made it seem so nefarious, but he's just trying to get your nose all clean, you know?
Do not worry. I am a bee. I will get your nose all clean. Right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I'm just saying, if that was my voice normally, I'd have to beat women off with a stick. Like, get off of me! Get off! They'd be like, oh, Jesse! Like, do not worry.
Clean my nose! Jesse Senpai, clean my nose!
Yeah, they just want a hit of that Nasonex.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
I'm here to clean your nose. It sounds like a vampire.
Yeah, now it's Antonio.
Right, let's move on.
We've moved on from Spy. We've moved on from Antonio Banderas. Now you're just Vlad
to clean your nose.
Yeah, you're just Vlad the vamp, you know?
Yeah, Vlad the nose sprayer.
Yeah.
He's a good guy.
Yeah, it's true.
He's all right.
He's all right. Before we jump into episode 2 of the Loki, that's not what it's called. It's just called Loki. I don't know why I added the. What? You're already doing this.
Vlad the Inhaler is much better than what we came up with.
Yes.
People are on it. They're on it.
Yeah. No, Chad is smarter than us.
Vlad the Inhaler is just so all right. I gotta shut up. That's great. That's great. That's hilarious.
Great name. It's a good name. It's a great name. There is a teeny tiny bit of news, most of it coming from the Black Widow press conference that was held this past week, because that movie's 2 weeks out. 2 weeks out. 3 weeks
July
out.
9th? 3 weeks.
2 weeks out from Friday. Yeah.
Still, so 3 weeks.
Still, you know.
Yeah, I was going to say that's 3 weeks.
It's 2 weeks out.
It's 2 weeks
next
out.
Friday.
2 weeks out and 4.5 days. Okay. All right. Who's counting? I mean, who's really, if we're going to be that specific, who's really?
You specifically are counting.
No. Are you guys going to see it in theaters? Is that even coming out on Disney Plus?
I don't think so. I think
This is going to be.
Only.
I think this might be the return.
First time seeing something in theaters.
Yeah, I agree. Let me see. It is coming to Disney Plus. Oh, it is streaming on Disney Plus on July 9th, but it's also obviously coming to theaters.
$30 or whatever it costs. The whatever the exorbitant charge.
Look,
I don't know.
I'm at a 1-and-1. I bought the pass to see Mulan. Not worth it. That was not worth $30. That was not worth $30. There was 3 of us though, so like economically it made sense. And then
You're right.
I got the pass just for myself to watch Raya and the Last Dragon. That was worth $30. That was a good movie. I don't know if you saw that. It was very good. I don't know about Black Widow though. I'll probably go see it in theaters, right? Like we're all vaxxed.
Who are you talking about? When you say all, you mean the 3 of us?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's not when you say all, I don't know if you mean societal. We'll see.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. I'm like, if I'm vaccinated and someone in that theater is not, who cares, right? Like, I'm vaccinated, so I'm good.
I don't know. I have no idea what the rules are, man. I just make it one day at a time.
Yeah.
Okay, so from my understanding, there's a good chance you won't get it, but it's not 100%. But if you do, the symptoms won't be severe,
Dramatic.
and you most likely will not be hospitalized. So
I just don't want to. Like, what if I don't get sick though? Man, that sounds great.
I
What if I don't
definitely
even like
think
get a
we've kind
cold?
of clicked into that mindset. Like, I think the pandemic made us realize how filthy we all are. Like,
It's
do you
true.
know what I mean?
It's true.
Like, I
I've
think it made
always
us
said I
realize,
was
like,
dirty, so you
it's
know, yeah.
2020. Most of us didn't get sick. Like, we didn't, and we're like, what? The seasonal cold doesn't have to be seasonal. No, turns out if you stay the hell away from other people, wash your hands, and wear a mask, you don't even catch the seasonal cold. The seasonal cold is not seasonal. Like going, I think for me, I think I'll be able to go to like the movie theater. Conventions are where I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
no,
shaking
no.
hands
No,
and
I'm
rubbing
not. No.
shoulders with filthy people again. I don't know if I could do it.
I don't know if I'm ever going back to a convention.
I'm ready. Those are my people. I'm ready. I'm ready, you dirty bastards.
Oh,
Come
no.
cover
Like, I
me in your
love
filth.
convention, but I'm not. I think like that many people, close proximity. I don't know about that anymore. You know?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while before anyone feels comfortable doing that stuff. 2022 is still like. There's a difference between going to a movie theater and going to a place where 64,000 people cycle in and out of a building, and it's that like it's gonna be a while. Like psychically, psychically, that's not right.
What?
You know, like your psyche, like people are gonna. It's gonna take a while for people to be prepared to do that again. Just in
Sure.
general.
Yeah. That makes sense. I'm going to warn you, the dog might bark very soon, and I might have to run and get the door, both of which are going to be scary. Me running and the dog barking suddenly. So, just be forewarned.
What?
Okay.
What? I don't think that's true.
I think it is. You know, I think it is. No, my food was late getting here this morning, so I'm going to have breakfast and MCU Crew. Before we do that, I can discuss some of the news that Kevin Feige said about this stuff. So some of the big stuff that he said during the press event pertained to Black Widow, but you know, it was kind of what that movie's going to be about. But he also said that exploring the past, present, and future of the MCU is on the card for all characters. So Black Widow might be the first of many like prequels, so to speak, from the major timeline of the MCU. And I haven't seen Black Widow yet, but I think generally I don't enjoy prequels. I'm not invested in them as much as like pushing the narrative forward. I think like I hope they don't go that path. Right? Like it would kind of bum me out if we start getting like some major releases that are all just focused on like, here's what Captain America was doing in the 70s. He was frozen. Here's 2 hours of that. Or just like shit around that, right? Like I don't know. It could also get into like retcon territory, as Blue Sapphire is pointing out in my chat. Like they could just start retconning a ton of shit at that point. I'm not into it. Jesse's shaking his head.
I'm more in the camp of doing new stuff too.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I feel like with going into prequel territory, you still have to kind of make it make sense with what they have now, and it limits what you can do, and you kind of have a reasonable idea of where it's going to end up versus like with new stuff they do, you just have no clue where it's going. And I think that was my favorite part of like Spider-Man Far From Home. I think that was like where that ended. I was like, oh, this was actually a little bit unexpected for me. Like I had an idea going into this movie what it was going to be, but the cliffhanger they dropped at the end, I was like, huh, well, this is interesting. I didn't think they were going to do that so quickly or have like this identity reveal so quickly that now they're going to grapple with in the next movie. I think if it had been a prequel, they couldn't have done something like that at the end because we would have known that his identity isn't exposed at the beginning of the next one, you know? And I understand they can like canonically change whatever they want, but it's kind of nice to know that like what they can do what they want without having to worry about continuity for what's already happened versus like what they're going to do next.
Sure. Boy, you just made me think about the fact that like whatever the next Spider-Man movie is, canonically, Scorpion at the end of the first one's like, yo, who's that Spider-Man kid? And Vulture's like, I don't know, bro, because, he saved my life. Wink. And now it's like, oh, yeah, no, everyone knows who he is. So here's hoping we get 6 very sinister individuals. Fingers crossed.
So that's the rumor around that movie, is that it's going to be the Sinister Six, but from different multiverses. They're going to be like Doc Ock from the Rami. Rami? That was the director of the...
Sam Raimi.
Sam Raimi. Yeah, Sam Raimi. Yeah. We'll get Doc
we know
Ock
a
from,
Rami,
like,
but
world.
not different one.
Yeah, different Rami. Different Rami. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm trying to think of, like, someone in chat had the comment, like, has there ever been a truly good prequel? I guess the first Captain America was kind of a prequel, but not really, because it was more like an origin story for him to get into the MCU. Rogue One. That might win.
That was actually very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked Rogue One.
Yeah. I don't know if there was any. Yeah, I guess Marvel related. I don't know if there has been. But the comics kind of play fast and loose with, like, where they drop into the timeline. There is the Marvel timeline in the comics. I don't even know if that's a thing that exists, because it's just all fucking wonky and weird, and they introduce brand new, issues, episodes, characters, blah, 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 almost every single year. So
trying to think of, like, a good prequel that I don't know if you can consider X-Men First Class a prequel, considering it's like an alt timeline vibe. I don't know, but I like that movie. I thought that was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, but most prequels, the biggest problem is they're too connected to the things that, so like it's the characters from the one story are connected to the other in a way that it's like, I am not afraid this character is going to die, or there are no stakes happening right now. And I don't know, the best prequels are the one where it's like, it's in universe and the connection is something that is at the end, you're like, oh, right? Instead of it being like, yes, my name is Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like, I'm not worried for this character. I never will be. And every time he's in trouble, I'm not afraid for him. And it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
Because he's going to be fine.
True.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a big fan of prequels.
Well, we'll see. Like, we haven't seen Black Widow yet. I'm not going into that movie with, like, oh God, this is a prequel. Like, I'm hoping that it's good, that it has that Marvel, Marvel goodness to it. And we've said this now 2 or 3 weeks in a row. The social media reactions are saying that it does. People have seen the full movie now. I don't know when that review embargo is up. But it's getting about what you would expect, right? Like, people are saying that it's John Wick. That phrase or that movie is being thrown around in comparison, shades of John Wick. And they're also saying that Florence, how do you say it? Pugh? Let's go with that. Jesse.
You're working on it, yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm going with Florence Pugh.
You're looking for me to save you? I'm not going to save
you. No,
I'm no hero.
You looked like you were going to mouth something.
I know, I was about to help you. And then I realized it's much more fun not to.
It's Pugh. I'm getting a strong sense that it's Pugh. It's Pugh. She's supposed to be great. So we'll see how that goes. How are we going to handle? Are we all going to go see that on the 9th? And then should we do like a special version of the MCU, or should we just the MCU Crew, or just do a Monday episode?
You tell me. Does it make
more
sense to wait so people can see it, so we aren't just having a spoiler cast?
Yeah, we'll probably wait till Monday. That probably makes sense. What else is out there? The Loki director, Kate Herron, submitted the final episode on, I think, Sunday.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I thought the flow of that I thought that would have been done like months ago. The fact that they're just now submitting that stuff is kind of crazy. Makes me wonder if they had to like push for this date to be, or 2 weeks ago to be like the first date for her, like airable. If that was a rush for her to get it done. But
Look, you saw what I tweeted you about the dates. I was very impressed. I was very impressed with the way they pulled off the secret date thing.
Do you
Wait, what secret date thing?
Do you think?
I think they did that on purpose.
Introduce the idea. I'm gonna go grab my food at the front door. Tell
All right,
Bronze what
I'll
you're talking
explain
about. Explain it. Do it.
So after I watched the episode, first off, I told JP, do not talk to me about this episode. I don't want to hear your thoughts. I don't want to know nothing.
Okay.
But I also said that it's interesting that the episode released on June 16th because that is 616.
Wait, what's the significance of 616 again?
That's the main universe for like the MCU.
Oh, okay. For some reason, my brain went to Sixes, where there's 6 Lokis.
That's very good. Oh, I like that.
So I was like, what's your reference for 616?
Nope, the MCU is 1999999. You know what? Get out of here, you nerds. No one cares. 616 is the true number of the beast. Mephisto confirmed.
There is an entire
616 is the
series
comics.
where there's 6 Lokis. So I, for some reason, was like, are you talking about the 666 event as well?
I am talking about the 666 event. No, 616 is the comics. It's still a very good reference. You nerds. Like,
did you get shut down?
Yes, it's not the MCU, it's just Marvel Comics, which, you know, F me for getting that one wrong. Actually,
still solid.
I've got my tinfoil hat on today. I just need to warn y'all. Like, there's, you know, I am all Pepe Sylvia with the murder rope for this episode. You know.
All right. Well, that's good.
How like, Pepe Sylvia me? Pepper me with your Sylvia. Let's talk.
But we're not talking about the episode yet.
Yeah, not yet. Let's not jump. We got like 2 more news bits. New details have been revealed for Amazon Prime's Silk series. And those are
is that in the MCU?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait,
really?
Actually, it says on Prime. I guess it wouldn't be.
It says Sony is teaming up with Amazon Prime for a spin-off show to their Spider-Verse world they're building. So it looks like they're making a Spider-Verse cinematic world, and that's what Silk is.
And that's the one that features Venom,
I guess.
Or are you talking about the animated Spider-Verse?
The animated Spider-Verse.
So it's an animated Silk?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's an animated show.
That I don't know. I don't know if they confirmed that in this.
Where did we go wrong in that? I was like, so it's animated. You're like, no.
Well, because it says here that Sang-Kyu Kim will serve as the showrunner and EP for Silk. It's also reported that Adeline Rudolph is highly likely to grab the lead role. So like that couldn't.
So it's live action.
Yeah, it would have to be. I'm looking at Adeline Rudolph. It would have to be live action.
Right? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Silk and Venom are going to be in universe together, but not Spider-Man.
I guess.
It's so weird. It's so strange that this is what they're doing.
That's Sony, right? Like they know that they have the most popular comic book character in the world right now with Spooderman. No matter what Disney tries to do or can do. And Disney has in a lot of ways like helped them with that, right? With adding him to the MCU, but it is a little weird. Like I wonder if we ever see Disney just say like, all right, look, $30 billion, give us Spider-Man. Right? Like, do you think there's an amount of money where they're like,
no,
100 billion?
I think to them owning it is more than, because they have everything, right? They have all the characters but Spider-Man. And as more and more people meet those characters, a Miles, or in this case, a Silk or a Gwen, or like they have all those characters and the rights to them. So in theory, they don't necessarily need a Peter Parker.
They don't. You're right.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
If anything, but I think they still own them. So they could be like, we want Peter in this, and we'll just say he's from your universe.
Yeah.
I mean, once you start bringing in Doc Ock, at that point, like, whatever, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Isn't that how we got the like Into the Spider-Verse stuff? Is because it's not like all owned by Disney. Like you can use Peter Parker, right? Because Into the Spider-Verse they have Peter Parker in there, so I'm assuming that like they can use him whatever they want.
I think so. They still have to license it for it's a licensing deal for Marvel, so Marvel still gets a cut of that somewhat, I would think. But those documents have never been released, essentially. So, and probably never will be, right? So who knows? Who knows what that actually entails? But I don't think Sony will ever give up the old Spider-Man.
Well, I know Spider-Verse is Sony. That's what I'm saying is like they can use Peter Parker whenever they want. That's the point I'm making. Yeah.
Yeah. For the most part, I would assume so.
Because even though they're licensing it to Marvel, it looks like they can still make their own. They could still make their own if they so wish. It wouldn't be in their best interest to like make their own like stuff and compete directly with the Marvel properties. I don't know if that would be, but like clearly there must be some deal there because like it seems like they can make their own Peter Parker stuff alongside the Disney stuff. And it doesn't have to I don't know. Like you said, we don't know what their deal looks like, but I was actually surprised because when I saw there was a Miles Morales animated movie, initially I wasn't sure we would see Peter Parker in there because I was like, can they both, even though they're licensing this character to another company, can they still use it?
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works. Like, I guess the big movie execs have figured it out because they did.
Well, it's all just money at the end of the day, right? Like,
yeah.
It's all just like, we'll give you this much money if you only use the word Spider-Man 4 times. Blah, blah, blah.
I like that boardroom executive accent. Okay, hello everyone.
Yes.
Welcome to the Marvel
That's
meeting.
what all rich people sound like on the billionaire level.
I think that's like the yeah, it's like, what is that, the Atlantic accent that everyone keeps talking about? Hey everyone, welcome to the Marvel movie meeting. My name is Mr. Marvel, and this is my associate Sony Man, and we are gonna have a conversation today about money because we're so very rich. Yeah, I think that's what that is. Yeah,
it's true. It's true
because we are so very rich. They all have white suits on for some reason.
Yes.
And they're drinking mint juleps.
Yes, and the KFC.
Well, I say, we are so very rich.
The Colonel is just there. No one knows why. He just sits in the corner, hands out his new chicken sandwich.
He brings the chicken.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense.
Exactly.
All the rich industrialists are there. Like 1920s robber barons with their long cigarettes and like, they all laugh like the Penguin. Yeah, of course. Man, my fantasy reality is way better than normal reality. Where's my multiverse? Everyone's like, nah,
you just got to invent
movies,
it.
Movies.
You just got to write it down and get it illustrated and then publish it. And then there you go. It's not bad. It's pretty easy.
So dumb. Yeah.
Pretty easy. One other bit of news, and then it's time to jump into the Loki conversation with I think we're all waiting for at this point. But apparently Jessica Jones might show up in Armor Wars, the upcoming spinoff series with Don Cheadle's War Machine.
That would be super fun.
Yeah, it's still rumor, not confirmed whatsoever. It's coming from the same people that had the leak about Rachel McAdams returning for Doctor Strange 2, which I think turned out to be true, although that one's a little bit more likely to have occurred. But it will be Kristen Ritter as Jessica Jones, same actress that portrayed her in the Netflix show. If it occurs, I have no idea where she where the fuck would she fit?
That story?
Yeah, how does she fit into that story?
Don't look at me.
In Armor Wars?
Yeah. I guess I guess Rhodey could like hire her detective services, but like he works for the fucking
What?
government. Why would he not go
Yeah.
like, talk to this
You just have
goddamn
a satellite
CIA?
do the work. Yeah. Why
Yeah.
would he? I don't know. Maybe that's the thing, man. You can't trust the government.
I'm gonna be honest. A lot of these smaller characters, I just don't care for them in the grand
In the grand
scheme of
MCU.
things. You know, like that's why I think these like little shows are wonderful. You know, because I feel like I would love to watch a Jessica Jones like little show, like Netflix style, and except on Disney Plus, right?
Yeah.
And same thing with Daredevil. But I feel like when they get ported over into the bigger universe, like even The Boys made fun of this concept of Daredevil being in the, you know, like he literally
Yeah.
like boxes his ears and is like, this is stupid. And I know that was like a pretty brutal scene, but it's also one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, because there is like varying levels of influence here, and something that might be very impressive on the Hell's Kitchen scale is not very impressive on a galactic scale where you have people like Scarlet Witch that can literally alter reality. What are you going to do with a character like Jessica Jones, who's, you know, and I'm not saying her story is not compelling, you know, but is it compelling on the big screen in the context of Armor Wars? I don't know about that.
Yeah.
How many times do
also
we need to see
doesn't
her
mean-
drunk in her office before it's like, okay, what does this have to do with anything? You know?
Yeah, like, does it mean that the last season of Jessica Jones is canonical if she's in this? Or can we just all forget about that?
I'm going to be real honest.
Mm.
I forgot what happens in the last season of Jessica
It is
Jones.
bad. That last season sucks. There's one good episode, and let me tell you, it's a flashback episode of stuff that happened in the first season.
I don't remember
So,
that.
you know,
I need to
just-
rewatch all that stuff. It's
Just
been a while. I need to rewatch Daredevil. I need to
the last
rewatch
season was
Punisher,
good. No,
like,
last
all that
season was
stuff.
poop. Poop. It was
Yeah,
poopy
I
season.
didn't like I don't even think I finished watching the last season of Jessica Jones. I feel like after David Tennant's exit from that show, it rapidly kind of started to decline for me.
That's the crazy thing, because David Tennant, again, it goes back to having a great villain for your hero. And that guy was like, you hated that dude. Like, you know, you're like, yes, Jessica, go. And in season 2, like, the main villain is like, she just has a really shitty friend. And that's like not compelling. That's not like, when your main villain's plot points are like,
that's right.
yeah, she like blew a guy in a bathroom to get some coke, and you're like, whoa, she's evil as shit. You know, like it's not compelling. You're like, oh boy, that girl.
It wasn't
She's got to
fantastic.
work
And
through
also,
some things.
controversial opinion, I just never felt like there was any chemistry between Jessica Jones and Luke Cage on screen. Like I never understood it. Like I was like, what? Why isn't he with the night nurse? Like he should be with Rosario. Like I don't know if I was alone in that, but their relationship was not believable to me. I was not invested in it. I was like, I don't even believe these two people are in love. Like it was, because they do a good job selling it in the comics, but like on screen, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't see. And then Luke Cage happened, which I loved, like basically half of the first season, and they did the horrible thing that all Final Fantasy games do, where they were like, the villain is not the villain. This is the villain instead. And you're like, but you had a great villain. Why would you do that?
It's pretty wild that at the end he fought Necron, the bringer of endings. And like watching Luke Cage fight an angel was fucking wild. Like that was so crazy. Y'all remember that?
I don't think I made it that far, because he hit a dab somewhere in season 2, and I feel like I signed out from that. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, Bronze, you missed it. It gets like really crazy by the end. Like,
and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm sorry. This was too much for me.
Yeah, by the end, like an angel shows up and he like fights it, but the angel only has like half a wing.
Mm-hmm.
And the music, instead of being like really cool and funky, is all orchestral. It's wild.
Oh,
so crazy.
And it's like doo, 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 like that. Okay.
Yeah. And then at a certain point, one spell destroys the universe, but like they still fight. It's wild.
It's crazy.
Wow,
So crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They had to call
Pretty
the Punisher at the end to really, get in there.
Yeah,
and
then
deal with
the
it.
Punisher shows up and he shoots the angel to death, and you're
I
like, how'd
heard
that happen?
Punisher
How'd he do that?
breaks every limit that he has.
All the limits. Yeah.
Yep.
Every limit, physical, mental, breaks all of his limits, and then empties a clip.
Right.
and
That's where Iron
destroys
Fist comes in. It finally pays off.
Do you remember?
Iron Fist finally pays off. Yeah.
Jokes
Iron
aside,
Fist.
do you remember at the end of season 2 when he like walks into whatever the like mystical magical world is, and then the show ends, and then he like shows up with a gun on a train?
Yep. That was
what the fuck?
That was roughly the same thing. That's roughly the same thing as saying Luke Cage fought an angel.
Yeah.
It's at the end. Danny shows up, like he walks into like the magic realm, and then Danny shows up at the end with guns.
Yeah.
It's roughly the same thing.
It's
You're
real
like,
weird.
What just happened?
Yeah, I mean,
what just happened?
Yeah.
I couldn't get through Iron Fist. I'm going to be completely transparent. I don't think I ever finished it. I think I got 4 episodes in, and I was like, I have my limits. I have my limits.
I'm going to be 1,000% honest. There was one reason for me to continue watching Iron Fist every single episode.
Yeah. Go on.
And her name is Jessica Henwick. Okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm
Fair.
just,
Right,
look,
you're
I'm an honest man. Okay.
I was in it for the compelling Danny hair. I felt like that was every week I come back to see what his curls were up to. We're like, is he barefoot again? Oh my god, the feet fetish was very high.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sure. It happens. It happens. It happens.
That was
I really hope
what do you think of Defenders, by the way? If we're gonna talk about this, when they all got together, what do you think of Defenders?
It was all right. I didn't think it was bad. It was fine. I felt the worst part of that, like, I felt Defenders was essentially exactly what I feel about all of their standalone shows, but in a group, right? Like, I thought Defenders was fine unless Iron Fist was on screen, and then I was like, well, where the fuck's Colleen, right? I thought it was fine until, like, they had to show Jessica Jones, like, flying, and I was like, well, that's fucking weird. This is a weird fucking thing. Like, just the hell is this? I thought anytime Daredevil fought, I was like, okay, this is pretty great. I'm into this. This is great. It's a hallway scene, and I like it. And let's just keep doing more of those. And then Luke Cage would do something, and I'd be like, okay. And that was fine.
Is it the fact? Let me just put this out there. Is it the fact that the hand kind of sucked?
Is an enemy?
As like a villainous organization, I don't think they were like fleshed out very well. I think most of the hand stuff was dealt with, but they like kept them around for a while. Like, I don't know. I didn't think they were like a very compelling threat. And then for it to be like the Hand are the baddies, it's like, nah, they are just as dumb as the Foot Clan.
Yeah.
Which is why they were made fun of in Ninja Turtles, because they suck. The Hand sucks. They're not a good bad guy.
I feel like the whole like power level ranking and like everything about that whole Netflix universe was just kind of off and kind of dumb in so many ways. Like, it never felt like I was watching a Marvel show. It felt like I was watching a Netflix Marvel show.
Sure.
In so many ways. Then I just wanted more Punisher, and I just wanted more Colleen in every single episode, and then I would have been fine with it. I didn't think it was bad though. Like, I watched every single episode of it.
You horn dog. You're like, I gotta have more of that Colleen.
Colleen's great, but also John Barenthal's greater. I think John Barenthal's the best thing to come out of the whole Netflix whatever.
Strongly disagree.
Really? You don't like him?
I would say no. I love him. I think he did great. I would say that Kingpin is my that was my
favorite. I was
gonna
say D'Onofrio's Kingpin is like
Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah. I can't argue. I can't argue that.
They cannot recast that part. They just can't do it.
I don't know how he's
peaked with that casting.
Yes. Look, not even. I can't argue that whatsoever. But I like John Barenthal's Punisher was pretty fucking good.
If there's anyone, I would be like, right. If there's anyone I had to like pull out of that entire Netflix MCU stuff, all I want is just give us more Vincent D'Onofrio, If I could just have Kingpin staring at white walls in a Spider-Man movie, I'd be so happy.
Dude,
I'd be so that made me so happy.
If he shows
So much of that
it'd be so good.
is like, I mean, some of it is writing, right? But I mean, they really got me invested in Kingpin's story. Like, I was not mad when the camera cut to him. And we are talking about, the camera cuts to Charlie Cox and we see, all this action-packed or cool stuff. But when the camera would cut back to Kingpin, for the most part, it was him talking to people. At one point, he crushes a dude's skull with a car door. But mostly it was like a romantic drama, right? And yet I was still invested every step of the way. And like, with his romantic date night with Vanessa, I was just like, come on, go out with him. He's such a nice guy. Like, I think we all were. And that's just really brilliant when an actor can get you like that invested in their story and they're a villain and they're a bad guy, and yet you're like every flashback, every date night, you're just like, I know he's a bad guy, but he really loves Vanessa.
Yeah.
He's like evil, but he really loves Vanessa. I cared more about Vanessa and Kingpin than I ever did about Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. Like, that relationship,
I agree.
They didn't sell it to me. But when Vanessa finally gets out and she's got her big Russian hat and her trench coat, I was like, yes, they are reunited.
Yeah, the whole idea of like, he's in prison, but she's like out there when his whole life's for her. Like that guy, I was like, this is a love you do not find. And much of like, this is love. How dare they separate these two? And then the fact that we got like flashbacks of Kid Kingpin, it's like, yes, now you understand this character. I was like, only in Good Villain do we truly get this. Like, they had to add this specifically because they were like, people are going to want to see this shit. They're going to want to know more about this guy because he's so good. Yeah, it was amazing. Oh, I love that character. I want more of him.
He's pretty good. But Punisher, Punisher is just such a...
Here's the thing.
Punisher's great.
Yeah, a lot of Punisher was amazing. But there's also some times where I'm like, I wish this was more Punisher. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like there's a lot of downtime in Punisher where it was like, I wish he was punishing more.
One of the only, and then I swear we're gonna talk about Loki after this. The only thing I didn't necessarily care for about Punisher, some of those episodes are like unbelievably depressing and dark. Which is like, that's the Punisher in a nutshell, but like, some of those episodes, as someone who recently went back and watched, like the first couple ones are just like fucking dark. Like, it's so fucking depressing to watch. Yeah. Which is great, right? Because that's like essentially kind of the Punisher in a nutshell is a very depressed, dark character who literally just kills to like feel better about himself in so many ways. But yeah, I really would love to see two things. And I think we've said this before. I would love to see Tom Holland and Vincent as Kingpin interacting on screen together. Cause I think that would be just hilarious. Cause like Spider-Man would be fucking flipping around, doing bullshit, saying quirky things. And Vincent would just like, be killing whatever lines he's delivering in said scene.
His intensity would be like way out of place.
It would be so silly and so great.
Come on, Kingpin, I'm going bowling or something like that. Yeah. And Kingpin was like, he's like shaking violently.
Yeah, 100%. And then I would love to see the Punisher and quite literally anyone from the MCU on screen together. Because that would just be... just the greatest. It would just be the greatest.
That scene where those dudes invade his like base
is
one of the coolest versions of like a Punisher fight scene. That thing is like violent as hell, crazy looking, visually. More of that, please.
Yeah. He's those shows are brutal. In a way that like I never expected them to be. But I'm glad that they were that level of like the level of brutality in those episodes is just like, holy fuck, they're going for it. Right? Like this, he's just straight up gutting people with this goddamn knife. Some of the torture scenes are just like, Jesus Christ, like let's not show this. Just put some screens in the background and we'll understand. You tortured him, Punisher, we get it. But
if they want an R movie, all I'm saying is just make a Punisher movie. Don't make it an origin story. We already have it. Same guy, same cast. Just bring it back. It's a Punisher story, and he's just violent as hell.
Bronze, you might know the answer to this. Do Moon Knight and the Punisher ever interact with one another? Are they in the same?
Yeah.
They do? That's what I want.
Yes,
John
I'm
Barenthal.
99% sure.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
I would love that.
And the last Zemo thing I read, at least, Punisher and Zemo go head to head as well.
Oh God, that would be great.
So that
would also
I think
be
would
weird,
fit.
but it would be great to see Barenthal and Zemo hanging out.
Yeah.
Just flying around on his jet, and he's just
they all kind of interconnect. And I mean, I honestly think John Barenthal and Oscar Isaac together on screen would be amazing.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be like so good.
Be really good.
Man, there's such good potential for some like great crossovers, not just of characters, but like of actors.
Right.
There's no way they would ever be in a film together otherwise besides this.
Well, we're getting to that point in the MCU casting that like hopefully eventually, someone's gonna like get a script and get a role in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie where we can get like a Best Actor nomination or like a win, right? I think we've been there a handful of times, at least maybe another. I guess now I'm blanking on his name. Chadwick was up for like a bunch of movies, but they were all outside of the Marvel, right? They were never for Black Panther. They're outside in other roles. But I'm saying like Marvel universes. You don't think so?
Just because the way the Academy is and the way that
it happened with Lord of the Rings, though.
But that reminder took 3 Lord of the Rings movies.
True.
And the first 2, they didn't get nothing. And then they gave them everything for the last one because they were like, you made a masterpiece. Here, take all the awards.
Yeah.
Because they recognized it. But it took years of probably campaigning and people like dumping all of this. Like, these movies are good onto people that, let's be real, the Academy are a bunch of old assholes.
True.
So they don't know any better.
What is the
truthfully?
Who is in the Spider-Man world? Is it Madam Web? Is that the like older lady in the Spider? Is that? Am I correct?
I don't know that much about Spider-Man, if I'm being honest.
Madam Web. Okay, I googled it. Look, get Meryl Streep to play Madam Web. Boom, there you go. Oscar nom and winner. That's it. That's the character.
I don't think that's how it works, my dude. I don't.
No, you put Meryl in a movie. You put Meryl in a movie. She wins.
I don't think that's how it works.
That's how it works. That's how it goes.
I don't know.
Look,
I don't know.
That's how it goes. Okay, I don't make the rules. The Academy does.
I mean, you clearly don't.
And if Meryl Streep is in a movie,
that's not how you win. Yeah.
If Meryl Streep is a movie, they give her an Oscar. That's just what happens. Or just get like you can get Dame Judi Dench.
Dame Judi Dench?
Yeah.
She'd win.
Dame
Judi Dench would come and tear that shit up. She'd be like, Peter Parker. Hi, Madam Quib.
Yeah, the Academy would just give her the one right there. It'd be great.
I would love that. That'd be a great ass movie. That'd be an amazing twist.
Yeah. Be 10 out of 10.
Judy would be the greatest MCU character. Hell yes. I'm down for that.
Same. All right. Let's talk about Loki episode number 2, titled The Variant. What a fucking episode. This was probably the best episode, I think, thus far that we've seen from any of the Disney Plus shows. I
thought you were about to say, of Loki, so far, this is the best one.
No, without a doubt, it is the best episode of Loki. But I think in the entirety of the Disney Plus shows, this one was the best for me. How do we want to do this? Do we want to just jump straight into the craziness? Do we want to go into like a moment by moment?
You run this show.
Well, if we do moment by moment, you got to stay in the moment, is all I'm saying. Is all I'm requesting.
Oh my God.
Oh, it's going to be hard.
That's going to be hard. Yeah, so let's not do that.
That's a big ask.
Let's do this.
So should we work backwards then? Should we be like, let's start at the end and work backwards?
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Does that make more sense? Because that's where we ended up anyway. We're just going to talk about the last 5 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, yes, but there was also so much that happened in terms of like one, right off the bat, I just want to say we called some shit. Okay, if you go back and
Yes.
listen
We did.
to last week's episode,
Yes.
we called a bunch of
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
Okay, without a doubt, we got some shit
Mhm.
right, which is great. That's always good to say that we were right. But I think that also this episode just introduced so many theories and so many like, well, what if it's this? What if that's it? What if that's going here? What's that? So we'll start this way, Jesse. Instead of
Well, let's start with the most important thing, JP.
Okay, let's do that.
Miss Minutes is a sentient being that lives in a computer but can jump out of the computer and talk to people whenever the hell she wants?
I was a little bit taken aback by that as well.
What does that mean for the universe? All I'm saying is Miss Minutes.
And is she single?
Whoa.
I mean,
I'm
let's be
hearing
real.
Miss Minutes.
Yeah. Is there a Mr. Minutes?
I don't think so.
That's all I'm saying.
Could be Mephisto.
Because that clock is one sexy clock.
That clock can get it anytime she wants, is what you're saying.
Anytime.
All I'm saying is, was the first episode when he like is like, where am I or whatever, and then it's like, you're probably wondering where you are. Was that her watching him, or was that a recording, y'all? Was that even a recording?
She says she's a mixture of both.
How's that possible?
Because he says, "Are you recorded or are you a living thing?" And she's like, "Well, kind of both."
Yeah, she doesn't really answer. They are playing a little bit like fast and loose with the how is any of this possible type deal, which I think leads into the theories that the show definitely sparks up. Yeah, let Jesse.
It's all an illusion and none of it makes sense.
Could be it.
That's true.
Yeah, Jesse, what'd you think about the episode? We'll just do general thoughts and then we'll jump into everything.
Sure. I realized that the TVA is located in Atlanta because I've stayed at the hotel that the TVA library is in. I recognized that immediately. It was like, oh, I've actually been there. I know what that is. That beautiful, like totally fake looking library set is absolutely just a hotel in Atlanta, which is hilarious.
But it was so beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
incredible.
Yeah.
I am interesting. I am interesting. I'm interested in the fact that like this episode both totally convinced me that the three like lizard aliens are totally fake. Yet at the same time convinced me that maybe they're real. I don't know. So like a great moment is it's very obvious when Mobius goes to see, I'm going to say his boss, the character who I can't remember.
You're talking about Ravonna Renslayer.
That's right, Renslayer.
Yeah.
He goes to see her, and he's like, "Hey, how about those guys, those timekeepers, right?" And she's like, "Look, they're busy." It confirms to me that Mobius has never seen them, right? I would assume that's the case. He's never seen them. Yeah. He doesn't know anything about them, and I was like, oh, okay, this is BS. This is going to be one of those things where it's revealed at the end that Loki's clearly like the head of the TVA, right? Something weird like that. One of those time travel tropes where it's like, I am my own grandpa, that kind of vibe. But then the brainwashed agent who, when they find her, she's like, I told them where to find them or something like that, right? She like keeps repeating it over and over again. And I was like, okay. But I don't know. Again, I don't know if that's related to the timekeepers or if that's related to the moments that are highlighted at the end. Like, there's a lot of questions about why were those the chosen moments or were they chosen? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Well, I think because the fan base has been going crazy with those dates.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them, they're just like red herrings. Like they're just random dates. I think at the end of the time, like someone saw that that one of the craziest ones is that one of them relates to the new Godzilla or the most recent Godzilla movie because like Hiddleston was in that movie or some shit.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like, I don't know if it necessarily means anything in terms of the dates, but there are a lot of interesting dates in there that the fan base has broken down. I can try to find a list if we want to go through them one by one.
I like just wrote down a bunch of notes, and like one of the notes I wrote down was at the end when he's talking with the variant. I'll
Yeah.
save that for y'all to spoil.
Okay.
Like the conversation is like, "Hey, come join me and let's take over the TVA." And the response is like, "Nah, bro, it ain't even about the TVA." So that's a thing I'm interested in. I don't know what that means exactly. I've realized the TVA is kind of like its rules are bullshit, kind of.
Sure.
Or
Yeah.
like don't go back and change time. But like if you do it right before an apocalypse, it's fine. Like, wait a minute, what? How does that make any sense? So that seemed a little weird. And then again, let me just pause at this. I had to write this down because it sounds so crazy.
Okay.
And I just want to make sure I said it correctly. This is what I was doing before we started, Bronze. So I was trying to think about how to say this exact thing.
Okay.
All
right.
The Avengers are supposed to go back in time, according to the TVA.
Correct.
Yes.
But Loki stealing the Tesseract is not supposed to be a thing that happened.
Correct.
Yet, had he not stolen it, Tony and Steve would not have to go back to the 70s.
Yes.
So, was that supposed to happen? Because if so, then Loki needed to steal the Tesseract. Because in the 70s, Tony talks to his dad, perhaps changing the future. Steve steals Pym particles, which you don't just replace Pym particles. So things changed in the past, and that was supposed to happen? I have questions. I think this is, I'm still going to say it. I'm going to say it once, I'm saying it again. I think this is a Kang plot. The revelation that this is all BS and it's a Kang plot.
Well, I think I pointed that out last episode where I was talking about how it wouldn't make sense for one to be preordained but the other not to be.
Yeah. It's
Like
a plot hole,
you can't
for
just
sure.
pick and choose. Yeah. But I mean, I think a lot of that comes to a head in this episode because it's like if the timekeepers are these all-powerful entities that are just like guiding the hand of time, but they're too busy for this, what else are they busy with? That's the part that I'm like, if someone's literally disrupting like the sacred timeline, wouldn't that hit the top of their agenda unless they've been killed or they just don't exist? I'm gonna say they've probably been killed and someone has taken their place.
I'm just saying, like, if there are three people that can control the flow of time, why would they let Kang chill out? Unless, again, because he's in between time and he's in the quantum realm. It's all a plot. I'm waiting for it. This is my Mephisto. I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to be like, there's this guy named Kang. We don't know a lot about him. And it's like, ooh, here we go.
I don't know if we're going to get a Kang drop in this.
Probably not. It's probably not going to happen, but let me have this.
At the same time, like, I don't know, and I think the next episode is going to probably tell us very quickly. I don't think that the spoiler Jesse didn't want to say, if you haven't seen episode 2 of Loki, we're obviously going to spoil a lot of shit. There's a very big moment at the end of the episode, which I'm about to spoil. If you don't want to hear that, please, by all means, feel free to exit said streams. I don't think that Lady Loki is a bad guy. I think that that's what the show is setting us up to think going into the next episode. But with that said, I don't know I don't know where they're going in terms of who's going to be, what is going to be the problem here that they solve. Because like, obviously she set off all the multiverse bullshit at the end of the episode. I don't think they could solve that in the next 4 episodes. I don't think that's something that's solvable. I think that's going to be across the entire MCU and is going to set up so much shit. They literally set up
at the beginning of the episode, Miss Minutes literally says, tell me again all the stuff you learned, which is, one of those like, hey, viewer, wink, remember this information. And it's straight up just like he says, once it hits the red line, you cannot reset those timelines.
Yeah, that was the thing.
So I think the whole point is like, all those timelines were created. There's no way the TVA can turn them all off.
Yeah.
So what's going to end up happening is we're going to have a multiverse, which is also weird. Like, did Loki create the multiverse? Right? Is that what this series is about?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that as it pertains to Lady Loki, a lot of people, as well as a handful of people in chat, are pointing out that she might be Enchantress and not Lady Loki. which would make sense in terms of how she's like able to take over those people in the supermarket at the end. But
that's also
Loki could also do that. So I
a
don't
Loki
know.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
well, wait, let's look at like personality traits though, right? At one point, he calls her Loki, and she says, "Don't call me that."
Right.
So that tells me maybe because like Loki is very self-aggrandizing. Like no matter what iteration of Loki we've seen, Loki finds the biggest rock in the Gobi Desert and stands on it. And yet this character moves in the shadows, which has never been Loki's MO. I actually kind of clocked it in the first one where I said, the figure to me looked female. I think in like the first episode,
Yeah.
where they just
Right.
the build just looked like more feminine to me. So I was like, oh, it looks. So if you look at it through that lens, 100%, it's like she doesn't operate like Loki either. Loki would be taking credit for it if it was him. Loki would be boasting about how he outsmarted everyone if it was him. And meanwhile, this character is like, thank you for talking for 40 minutes because you bought me the time I needed. Like that's which to me, she just doesn't operate like Loki. And then there's like a whole other, because there's so many theories that I have that I think that some of them, because everyone's saying it's Enchantress because there's when Loki opens the file with his file with his name on it, that you can see in the top right corner, it says Sylvie Lofi Doter, which is like Sylvie, daughter of Lofi, which is kind of like he's Lofi's son.
Mm.
So you can actually see that clearly written on the side of the page. But if we remember Sylvie's character, Sylvie like basically wakes up one day, has powers, and models herself after Enchantress because she's like, kind of impressed by this character, and goes and joins this like team with Wiccan and stuff, and then finds out as like she starts being like more chaotic that Loki actually gave her powers. So now the comic books don't really matter because as we've seen, they'll throw out whatever they want when it comes to the movies. So I don't think we should use that as a basis of like, oh, well, that means 100% that's what's going to happen here, because that's idiotic. As we know, they'll change whatever they want. My theory is that Loki gave his powers to a mortal because he knows he's kind of trapped, like, because I feel like that's been the theming from the beginning of this. He says multiple times, like, so no matter what he does, he has to die, and he's a liar, and what does it mean to be a mischievous scamp, and can he escape this base nature of just existing to make other people the best versions of themselves? Well, maybe, but if he created an agent to do his bidding for him, would that person be bound by the same rules? Probably not.
Bronze, you
Like,
may
if
know
his
this
fate-
more than me.
Yes.
Like in the comics, there is, after Asgard's destroyed, doesn't Loki like, I don't want to say separate into different people. Like, isn't the whole thing like he takes over like other bodies?
Yeah,
Well,
so
like-
Loki is like the comic book line they've been following the closest is it's the Loki Agent of Asgard run is the one that I've noticed that they're following the closest, which are these guys here. And later on, this becomes Vote Loki, and then it branches off into the Sixtus event. But that's the one that I felt that they've like played it the closest to. But if you look at number 1 of this comic, it actually looks like the Hiddleston. Let me see. Where is it? Never mind. I can't find which one. One of these looks actually just like him. This one in general.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it looks just like him. So I feel like they wrote this series with him in mind, because the Loki that existed in the comics prior to this was like kind of old and crusty and not cute. And then they branched it off into this one. And there is a part of the storyline where there are 6 Lokis, and he's kind of in a relationship with Enchantress. And they have this entire crazy conversation where she says, the magic changed us, perhaps because we gods are creatures of magic ourselves. Like an alchemy of the soul, that which was evil in us became good. And she talks about how Loki is good now and he's going to be a good guy because of a spell Scarlet Witch cast. So that's like a whole, and the reason that she could influence Loki and not necessarily the Avengers is because gods are made of magic. I don't know how much of that is going to come over into the MCU. I don't know about that. But sorry, somebody in chat just broke my brain. This is Axis? I thought this was 6. That's supposed to be an A?
What were you thinking it was? The sixes?
Sixes? Because of the font, it looks like SIXIS. That's Axis?
I think that's Axis.
That makes so much more sense. That makes so much more sense.
It's the Axis event. Sure.
The Sixes event.
Look, it's okay. All right. It's okay.
Sixes.
My mind has been blown because I was like, oh, it's like 6 backwards and forwards, like a palindrome. No, it's Axis. That
people see what they want to see.
That's true.
Now you understand.
It's true. All very
now
true.
I know how Jesse felt when he thought that the Rage
Tom Morello! That's your Tom Morello. Now we know.
Oh,
now
God.
I've had
understand.
the Morello moment.
Oh, God.
I'm
That means I'm the one that's left. What is going to be my Morello moment?
You're going to have a Morello moment.
This is going to be a massive amount of anxiety for like the next month of what's going to be my Morello moment.
It'll happen when you least expect it. There'll
That's
be a
true.
moment where we're talking and you'll say a thing.
It sneaks up on
with
you.
such confidence that when we look at you like a crazy person, you will understand that is your Morello moment.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I will say this. A Morello moment can only be a Morello moment if the person that had said Morello moment claims it to be a Morello moment.
True. Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
100%.
That's the Morello moment stuff. I don't know. Parameters.
Yeah.
Rules.
When you yourself are so filled with shame at that which you have said.
Yes.
That
The shame
you
is the
yourself
key.
don the
like,
mantle of the Morello moment on your
true.
shoulders.
That's true.
Yeah, the overwhelming shame is truly the key. When you know you're so wrong, you're so very wrong, and you're like, oh, that happened live on the internet. Oh, yeah.
It's here forever, and there's going to be 30 YouTube comments that are like, why is Bronze calling it that? It's definitely Axis.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, I've Morello'd yet again.
It's true.
How could this happen?
It's true.
But it actually says Loki Agent of Access in a different font right underneath it, and I just never read it.
Nice.
Either way,
nice.
I'm the best.
Nice.
I think like Jesse, the whole so are you trying to say that you think that they've split into multiple Lokis?
I don't know. I know that the idea of Loki taking over bodies is it's something we've not seen MCU Loki do. I don't think he transforms into people, but he's never been in a body of someone else. But I know that that's from the comics. I know that's a thing that happened in the comics where he there was a time period where he hopped from body to body, and I can see how, I don't know, how it's part of a Loki plan. But you're right. The whole idea of not being I don't want to be called Loki. Do not call me that. Loki is all about himself. However, I don't know. What does that hold for future Loki, right? What about the Loki going through this series? I have no clue.
Do you think that explanation prior to them jumping through was telling, where he says, well, it's illusion projection. He's like, well, that's
about
different
the magic.
and making a mirror image directly of myself, where I was like, that's interesting, because he said it's a 1-to-1 molecular carbon copy of him. He basically admitted right there that he can make a double. Did he not?
Bronze?
He said it in that moment that he can make 2 of himself.
Smart
and then
pants.
you jump through the portal. So
it
for
is
him
it
to
is a 1-to-1
that,
copy. Yes.
one to
And that's
one
why she's like, don't call me Loki because it's not Loki, it's a copy Loki. I love it. I love the idea that it is
because
a
he
copy Loki.
specifies that his illusion projection is not the same as his ability to make a one-to-one molecular copy of himself.
And that is a 1-to-1. Yo.
Yeah, but why would he go through the whole process of like his reactions are genuine and like he's fighting?
He doesn't know because it's future Loki business.
I was like, it could be a different version of him that did that.
Yeah. He doesn't know yet.
I
It's
mean,
the time paradox.
Yeah, maybe. Could happen. Could happen. I if we're going with the crazy theories. Jesse, you want to hear my crazy theory that I was going to text you?
I would love to hear your crazy theory. I love a good crazy theory.
It's very simple. It's very simple.
Yeah.
I think
Mephisto.
Not Mephisto, but it does start with an M. I think that Mobius is Loki from the future. And he's posing as a member of the TVA. And that's why he recruited Loki. And that's why he's chasing Loki, is like he's trying to get an audience with the people, and this is like his long game. His big game.
I definitely feel like all three of us are in the same boat that in some way the reveal at the end is going to be that whatever the timekeepers are, Loki is going to somehow be involved in the overall daily workings of the TVA, right? Like there's going to be a reveal where it's like Loki's been a part of the TVA for a long time, and this is like something's associated. Like who knows what it's going to be, but I have to believe that, right? Like that's the fun of time travel, where it's like, don't you see, Loki? This we recruited you because you recruited yourself. Like that weird ass. I love that stuff.
Yeah,
I want to believe that.
I also think that the TVA, chat was pointing this out. I think that everyone that works in the TVA, and we saw the girl that was at the end that was like talking about where she was doing whatever that she was chanting, where she was like fixated on that saying. I forgot what the saying was.
She literally said like, I told them where to, I told her where to find them, or told them something like that. But she says it over and over again. And that's what I thought she was talking about, the timekeepers. But maybe that's not correct.
I think that the members of the TVA are variants that they like basically brainwashed into being members of the TVA.
But they all say that's all they remember. Like this is the thing they were born to do.
Maybe they fucking use magic to like do that, right? Like maybe, I don't know. It's the MCU. They could definitely be like forced to have that memory.
Then those people are taken out of time.
Yeah. What better way to like recruit into an agency where people that shouldn't exist are removed from the place they shouldn't exist in?
That would make a lot of sense as well with like how almost like fanatical some of them are, and how this person that was abducted by Loki basically had their brain broken. Because if we know one thing about Enchantress / Loki, it would be that if there's somebody to undo a programming, especially Enchantress, probably has the ability to do it. So if like this person was like ripped from their timeline and then reprogrammed, I feel like being in Enchantress's proximity, she'd be able to undo that programming, thereby like breaking this person's mind. Because that girl was broken.
She was definitely broken. Think it was,
like she was like sitting there shaking, rocking back and forth, and it's like, I don't think that this character that abducted her did that to her. I think this character that abducted her removed whatever the TVA had blocking that memory.
Yeah.
Do you
it was almost like a programming was broken.
Yeah.
Well, do you think it is similar to the magic used in WandaVision?
100%. Yes, I've had that
the
feeling
chaos
from,
magic or something like that.
Yeah. I've had that feeling from episode 1 where he was like when they did the whole chant, and like he wasn't really answering questions about the TVA. Where he was like, "Oh yeah, I've been chained to my desk," and like even in this episode they dive into it more. Where it's like if you scratch too deep beyond the surface, none of it makes sense. it doesn't make sense, right? And it has that in common with WandaVision, does it not? Where it's like, well, if you look too deep or if you scratch beyond the surface of this perfect little town, it just doesn't work, right? And then like the specificness that Loki's magic doesn't work there. Wasn't it established to us in WandaVision that if you put certain ruins down, only a witch that has cast those ruins can cast magic there?
Yeah.
Because it's like, to me, it's very strange that like Loki's magic specifically doesn't work in the TVA. And I know the Infinity Stones don't work there either, right? But the Infinity Stones, like, as we said, if they're going by the logic that they only work in the timeline they were taken from or whatever, then it makes sense that they wouldn't work there.
Right.
But like, if we start looking at it through the context of like, why does Loki's magic? Because they've gone over this like several times. Like, well, your magic doesn't work in the TVA. You'll get your magic back when you go back to the timeline. That to me is like, but I don't know if they would do something that overarching where it's like, there's been runes cast outside this micro world, and only the witch who cast them can cast magic here, and all these people are programmed. And the reason Miss Minutes can't answer you as to whether she is a living program or pre-recorded is because she's just Wanda didn't think that hard when she made it. You know what I mean? Like,
sure. I mean, there is definitely something going on with the TVA, right? Like they're starting to paint them as the bad guy. At least as the episodes go on, there's so many like hints dropped that like maybe the bad guy's us. And at some point, I do think Owen Wilson's gonna like catch on to that, right? I just don't know when. Like Loki is gonna. I think Loki's been apprehensive the entire time, and his current goal, or at least was, to meet the three lizards, right? Like that's been what he's been trying to do this entire time up until the end of the episode. I am worried that we're gonna get this like universe of the week type deal or multiverse of the week for the next like 2 or 3 episodes where they just like jump from place to place hunting down the supposed Lady Loki, which could be the reveal that the Enchantress is coming. But I don't know where the next couple episodes go because we only got 4 left, right? And the fact that they literally just created the multiverse and there's no way that they can stop it all, like that's kind of a big fucking deal. So I don't know where we go from here unless it's just like chasing her down again.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%. I'm thinking of that too, because like bombing the timeline to me did not feel like the act of a villain, but rather like freedom from a tyrannical timeline in which if you are not the right version, you get eliminated. Like that's horrible. if you think about it, that's horrific.
But you also saw the way that they treated in the shopping center in the fake Walmart. You saw the way that they treated like people during the storm, hurricane, whatever. They like,
cataclysmic event.
The one guy was like asking questions. He's like, get out of the way, like push. So they definitely have an attitude of these people don't matter because they're not real. You know what I mean? Like because they are from an alt timeline or a weird thing. These people aren't real people. And I think, that's pretty tyrannical and messed up as well. So
true.
And even if like logically speaking, it's like, oh, well, because this reality shouldn't exist and there's a version of you that's existing. So technically I'm not killing you. I'm killing an idea of you in an alternate timeline. Right. But in order, like, you still would have feelings about that. Do you know what I mean? Like a logical
unless you were brainwashed.
That's what I'm saying. And it's interesting that Mobius feels that. Right? Because they're like, listen, all these people are going to die in like 30 seconds anyway. Who cares about their feelings? We're going to nuke this entire timeline. They're all going to die in this calamity or in this apocalypse level event. It doesn't matter. Who cares? And it's like, wow, you really don't have any empathy. Like these people are about to lose their lives in the sacred timeline. Like they're not existing in any version of reality because you've pruned all the other options. Like you don't feel bad or any type of remorse. And then you see Mobius's reaction. It's like, why doesn't Mobius have that programming? Which kind of lends some credence to the theory that Mobius is Loki.
Yep.
They did that thing that shout out to writers. They did that thing that was like Mobius is different from everyone else because he likes jet skis. You know what I mean? Like they gave him like a thing where Loki could be like, well, what is this? It's like, it's a jet ski. Jet skis are awesome. And it's like from the 90s, that time period, man, that was great. And it made him more human than anyone else in the
Yes.
TVA.
Yeah.
And so, it's
versus a dude that doesn't know what a fish is.
Right.
Harder to relate to. Yeah.
And so I'm curious, that could just be a fun thing they did, but it also could mean something. It could mean, the idea that they are mind wiped, and this dude was taken from the mid 90s, right? And his last memory was like on a jet ski.
Sure.
Who knows?
Yeah. It could be that
and
type
maybe,
of callback.
This is weird. Maybe it's true, but maybe the pruning, maybe them killing it. They say they wipe out the area. Maybe they don't wipe it out. Maybe there's they suck, all the people who get wiped out are new TVA agents. I don't know.
Well,
because they say they wipe out the area.
Yeah.
They didn't say the whole timeline. They said that thing wipes out the area, and then there was a safe distance to get from it.
Right.
Which I don't know what that means.
I also
it doesn't seem like, it seems fake to me. It seems like they definitely destroyed the timeline, but I don't know. I have no clue how any of it works.
Going back to your comment about or your bringing up the idea of jet skis and writing that in, I feel like that's going to be a deal where Enchantress or someone they run into more Mobiuses, and it's going to be the thing of what was it? One thing I told you about Loki? Well, it was jet ski. Okay, that's the real one. Let's go chase that one type deal. That's, I think, why they did that type of shit.
Sure. But also they left another breadcrumb, which again goes back to my theory that Loki is 100% part of the TVA, because straight up, why is there another agent? She's like, he's like, your favorite agent. She's like, ha ha ha. And then, there's someone else bringing her gifts through time. We don't know who that person is.
Yeah.
It's Loki. It's Loki. It's straight up Loki.
Right? I mean, it could be Loki. It's also the idea in the comics, she dates Kang. And so everyone thinks that other agent is Kang. So yeah.
But
I don't know if we're going to get a Kang drop here. I don't know if this is where you introduce Kang. I feel like it's way too, subdued or something. Kang is a one more thing after credit scene in my mind when he first gets brought up. It's not a mid-season drop in a Disney Plus show.
I don't know. I have no clue what it means. I feel like though there's got to be something going on that's weird, and I feel like the best goof in a Loki series is, of course, Loki is behind the thing that he's trying to destroy, right? You know what I mean? It's Loki's like, I will take over this thing, and then he gets there and he's like, oh, I already did. And he's like, well, I'm a different Loki. It's like, what? Well, I'm the Loki that wants to take it. I feel like there's a definite Loki goof involved, but I don't know.
What they could do kind of like what happened in WandaVision, where since there will be, and it's already, I think, confirmed that season 2 of Loki is going to happen, and it's also confirmed that Kang is going to be a part of Quantumania. Kang might be like a reveal at the end of the show. You
can definitely say it.
Yeah,
you can say you can be like, well, who is in charge, and then they can show a name or show that's different than the reveal of a character, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I was lagging for a second there.
Oh no, you're good. I didn't miss anything. I'm trying to see if there was anything else from the actual episode that was just kind of a fun mention. I think in taking apart or taking off our tinfoil hat, I think the interaction between Loki and Mobius in this show, this episode specifically, I would watch these guys for 6 more seasons.
This was a buddy cop episode.
They're phenomenal. 100%.
They have a lot of chemistry.
They have work so well together. Yeah. The whole scene in Pompeii, when they're waiting for or when they're talking to the other people and waiting for the volcano to explode, and he's freeing the goats or whatever. That whole scene was just absurd and was hilarious to watch.
But it also brings up a huge question that I think. So the TVA does not care about the events leading up to
the moments before
apocalypse,
because they're all gonna die. Yeah,
but then they just Loki then goes back and proves you can mess around in that time period, because the whole point of what, Enchantress or, whoever this Loki is, it's the whole point of what she's doing. So at that point, it seems like a massive oversight on behalf of the TV. Something's afoot, y'all.
They specifically said, I think, as long is what Nundo is saying in my chat, as long as the red line doesn't happen, it's fine. And so, like, as long as those people can't act on anything because they're going to die because of the cataclysmic event, then a red line won't occur, so it doesn't matter. Right? Like, you can't outrun a fucking volcano exploding right next to your, place of wherever you reside. There's no way you live through that. So all those people are dead regardless of what they know.
Right. But the idea of someone going there and hiding out there is a variant. The things you could change may not be, in the moment massive, but you could create over time, if you had the power to like always be at certain times, you could over time make massive change.
Well, you're essentially just giving yourself more time.
And that's what she's doing.
Yeah, that's what she did essentially. Yeah, with the exploding of the timeline bullshit. Yeah.
She basically set it up to where she was hiding out in this pre-apocalyptic area, knowing that if people see her or if she does something, it doesn't matter because all of that's going to get obliterated. And so it won't cause a branch. So it's off the TVA's radar, which allows her to jump back and forth through time with like zero repercussion. Because even if someone does see her open a door and go through time, they're going to die in that calamity. So it doesn't matter.
Right.
It just seems like such a massive oversight for such a powerful, like an all-powerful organization. Right?
Oh, it's a huge oversight. And I mean, he says that. He's like, he just found a major flaw in our security within, 24 hours of being here. And Renslayer's like, yeah, that's why he needs to go. I think that's what she says. I think she's basically is like, that's why we don't want him, because he's already found. It still reeks of that whole, don't look too close, because if you scratch past the surface, there's nothing here. Which gives me more of an idea of like, wouldn't the timekeepers have thought of that? Wouldn't have somebody have mentioned like, oh, by the way, you could technically hide out an apocalypse level event? Like, how was Loki able to figure that out in less than a day?
Well, I think that goes back to the idea of like, how they set up the power levels, right? Like, you have the TVA, which acts outside of reality, and that kind of controls that. You have the Infinity Stones, which control like reality, and then you have kind of like the Rogue, right, that can kind of fuck with both of those. And they kind of, those are the three powers that keep everything in check. At least that's how I look at it. But I don't know. You're also right in the sense that like, I mean, Loki was there for a day and he like found a giant flaw. So,
but I think that could also point to like, they also might have just like set all of that up to point out that like even if the timekeepers exist and they haven't all been killed and just like they're being controlled by a puppet, I think it's important to note here that they are very much fallible, which just leads, or I guess gives more water to Loki's argument that one person shouldn't control the fate of everybody else, even though that's kind of what he was wanting to do for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like even one person or a triumvirate, whatever you want to call it, can make mistakes because they've already made several mistakes multiple times over.
But
so what else? What other mistakes have they made?
It's definitely true. Like, what other mistakes have they made? But I also think that it's the type of entity that can, like, once they find a mistake, they can just go fix it. Because they, they can enter into any point in time that they see fit. So if they find a mistake, they just go back in time, go forward in time or whatever, fix it, and then move forward. But the other thing is like the people at the TVA are just doing what they are told. So someone is telling them to do this shit. And I think that's where this episode, that's where the show is going to go, is like, who is actually telling them to do this shit? Apart from like, the red line or whatever is spiking. If that's the like day to day, There's got to be some overarching goal behind all of this. And I don't think it's like keeping the sacred timeline. Like what are they keeping the sacred timeline for? And I don't think it's to prevent I don't think the multi-universe wars have happened yet. I don't think that's something that has occurred. They're trying to keep the timeline so it doesn't occur, essentially. In a weird way of thinking about it. Like they already know that stuff can happen, so they're trying to make sure it doesn't happen.
Man, yeah, that's interesting. I love.
I don't know why he's upset about it. Stop it.
Has a theory.
He's got a theory. He's Loki. Why is he
I'm Loki.
Wait a minute. JP's background is green.
Uh-huh.
It's the same color as Loki.
It's true. I'm actually Tom Hiddleston, guys. You caught me.
I knew it.
It's true.
I knew it. I had my theories, and they are all coming to fruition.
Yeah. What's the multiverse war in the comics? I don't. Did the multiverse war happen in the comics, Bronze? Is that a thing that ever exists? I feel like.
Well, I feel like different realities have clashed before.
Okay.
But I don't know if there was like a all out, like every single multiverse attacking each other and then obliterating itself.
They're saying it's the Secret
Wars. I've read Secret Wars. That didn't result in the end of time.
Well, the Secret Wars was Skrull stuff, right? Wasn't that Skrull invasion or something like that?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm watching the trailer again for this series because I'm also just a fool and want to get spoiled, maybe. But
that's Secret Invasion. Okay, sorry to interrupt.
If you remember the trailer for this show, so let me just walk you through what I'm thinking about right now as we've been like doing our thing. So my question was, how in my own head, how does this Lady Loki or Enchantress, whoever, how does she know how to hide in apocalyptic moments, right?
Sure.
Like, how would she know that? How did she figure that out? All I'm going to say is go back and watch that trailer. In the trailer, there's a scene with like a meteor or like something falling. Do you see that? Do you guys see that shit?
Are you talking about the scene that looks like she's in the Soul Stone on Vermeer or whatever?
No, there's like a scene with like, looks like stuff coming from the sky.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I'll have to look
I wonder if her saying this is bigger than you or this isn't about you. Is this one of those things where like her timeline or her world or her whatever was destroyed
by the TVA or something?
And she, I don't know by who. I don't know that yet. But like something about it was destroyed, and so she can't go back far enough to save it, or she can't figure out how to save it with their technology, or whatever the case may be. But she can't figure it out, and so the best she can do is go back and watch the moment it happens, and like she knows that's like right, like something weird like that, where that's how she knows that no one's watching her.
I mean,
because that apocalypse occurs over and over again, and she can just see it happen. I don't know. I have no clue.
That's interesting to think about too, because if we go based off of like what was in Loki's file, that this is Loki or Sylvie Luffy daughter, right? And maybe they just use the word Sylvie as an Easter egg, and it's not the character that Loki gave powers to. This is interesting too, because I had this thought process where, if I remember correctly, the original Enchantress, was her name, Amora or something, gets her powers from Asgard, similar to Hela, right? She doesn't exist in our timeline because I feel like they would know about her, but maybe in another timeline she does. Maybe the answer was right there, Jesse. Maybe she was supposed to die in Ragnarok, and maybe now she's trying to prevent Ragnarok, whereas Loki has just accepted that it happens. Because if
Yeah,
she was there for her version of Ragnarok and sees that it happens every time, maybe she was like, okay, well, what if I make sure it doesn't happen?
Yeah, like she's trying to prevent a thing that cannot be prevented. You know what I mean? Like she's trying to change
Yeah.
the timeline, and so she sees that happen continuously. There's just got to be a moment where I don't.
Which would open
I
the
was-
door for Hela to come back too. Because if Ragnarok doesn't happen, then Hela is never defeated. So then
I think Hela
That-
could just potentially come back. I think I don't think she died in Ragnarok. I think that was just a
I don't
way
think
to
she
like keep
died.
her
I think she
power
was
down.
probably great. Yeah, I think she was greatly weakened.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
this
yeah.
would open the door for her to come back as like a next big bad, potentially. But
Yeah.
So they're straight up. All right. All I'm saying is, at 1:43ish in the trailer,
Which
they're straight
trailer?
up just a thing that looks like literally the Marvel Studios Loki official trailer, Disney Plus, the one that's on
Number one.
Marvel on
Okay.
YouTube. I don't know if it says number one. It just says it was released April 5th.
Okay.
That helps
there
you
go.
find it. But it straight up is there are multiple shots of destroyed. Like there's one shot at 140 exactly that is straight up a hellscape with the destroyed moon / planet in the background. There is a shot before that, a little further or a little early in the trailer, that's destroyed New York. There is a shot at 141 that looks like it is a throne room on, I assume, Asgard. And then immediately afterwards at 143, it looks like it's a destroyed Asgard. And then it looks like it's him walking through a destroyed Asgard. And Bronze, I mean, like, we may have pieced together like a dope ass theory here about
Yeah.
who this character is. And so the reason why she knows that you can hide in Apocalypse is because, like, that's where she is from, basically. Like, she is the Apocalypse Walker, right? Like, oh my God, I'm down for that.
that would be cool.
I'm trying to see if there's
That would
any.
be really cool.
There's another shot that literally shows like crazy meteor things.
I think we might get
Yeah.
that.
Oh,
What? Where is this? Oh, this
all
is.
right. Here we go.
This is New York. I
206.
guess is what you were referencing.
Yeah, 206 is the shot.
Okay.
206 is the shot, baby. Watch this.
This
is
right
it.
here,
Of course, this is
or
it.
the next frame.
Next frame. It's the one that everyone thought was Scarlett Johansson, but it's clearly not Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, that's definitely her. Yeah.
This is her, because look, the outfit is the exact same one he left running into the portal.
I think
When he
this is
ran
where
in
the
the
next
portal-
episode's going to start. I bet.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have a conversation with him that's going to be straight up like, this is how I know this shit. Because, oh my God, Bronze. Oh my God, theory craft with me.
So
I
what-
also get the impression that she didn't want to kill him.
Right. What if?
Because I think
All
if
right,
she
I'll
wanted
go
to,
down-
she could have easily.
I'll go down Enchantress rabbit hole. I love that. What if this is her world ending and she just like, this is the closest she can get to saving her world. And so she just comes
Just
back and
watching
watches
it
it over
end.
and over and over again. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh shit. And that's why she knows, like, she doesn't go to any other apocalypses. She only goes to one, this apocalypse, because it's the one place that she like, oh man.
I don't.
I love this.
Is
I love
And
it.
that would also describe her feeling like the only way to get out of this is to bomb the sacred timeline. Because maybe every single time she does something to save it, these TVA bastards come and reset it. So she's like, why? And it's like, well, it's because there's one divine outcome. Okay, well, what if I break that outcome?
And there's a chance she can save it, right? Like, oh my God, what is that? There's some, my brain just, there's some villain or some character or some plot in something. Oh my God, this is such a stretch. There's clearly a plot line in some type of media where the whole point is like messing with the timeline to get the one that is, Destiny and the Vex in Destiny.
Oh yeah. They're trying to
They,
find.
like-
Yeah.
The one perfect timeline where they win. That's this. She's like, I'm gonna create all these timelines. I literally forgot it was a video game. I was like, what do I know this from? It's Destiny. Yeah. The Vex are like, we're gonna try to create the one perfect timeline that we in the end win. And that's like her vibe where she's straight up just like, I can't. This whole thing where they have this perfect timeline, all my people die, and I refuse to accept that. So I'm going to create a bajillion timelines, and in one of those, we're gonna live. And I don't. It is the opposite of Doctor Strange. Kind of.
Do you think?
Right? But like,
do you think then, and what she uses to like get Loki over to her side, is the idea of like, what if Asgard never got blown up? Because that was a very like emotional moment for him in episode 2. What if your dad never died? Emotional moment. What if your mom never died? Emotional moment. Is that what she uses to like swing him over? Is like, what if this shit never happened?
But wait for this. Look at our writer's room go here. But wait for this. Because Mobius says to Loki, you are a side character.
You're always destined to die.
Things you did make others better. That's Loki's like, I want to do all those things, but because of what happened in our timeline, we were able to save our universe from utter destruction. And so my death in that timeline meant something. It was important, right? Like, because it wouldn't have spurred these other, like my brother would not have been spurred to action had I not, like that kind of stuff. And so he's like, it may seem pointless that all these people died, but like maybe that meant, like that kind of thing. I don't know. Who knows what this could lead to?
Now that we're watching trailer stills, who the fuck is this? At 2:07 in this like library with a fireplace going, clearly has a sword right here.
The area, if you go back to, I think it's 140 something, it looks like the place where Loki's walking into. There's a very like ornate door, and it has the maybe it's 143. Loki like walks into, he's like walking down a hallway.
Oh, yeah. Here, let me go back.
And it has the exact same like gold sort of cracks.
That
has to be, that's like the outside. It has to be.
You think this is where the timekeepers are?
I don't know. I do know that
hold on.
Inside room is the inside of this, whatever that is.
Trying to place that weapon that he's got on his back.
It's one of those stun things, right? Or is that his sword?
I think that's his sword.
It does look like it has a hilt. Although, let's be real. If anyone messes with trailers, it's Marvel.
Oh, 100%.
Marvel straight up lies in their trailers. So, who knows?
Yeah. Chad is pointing. Oh, shit. Chad's pointing out that that's Asgard being destroyed. That's one of their theories. What if that's where that still is from? Is Asgard being destroyed? Where they're sitting. Although the scene before it, this scene right here, looks to be in the same area, and that's definitely not Asgard. That looks like to be somewhere on Earth, like New Mexico or some shit.
And that could be him turning around to see New York as well.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the apocalypse.
Like when he sees New York, he sees the apocalypse. And that very well could be, like, what if he won? Maybe this is one of those, like, what if you won, Loki? Right? Like, what if he had won the invasion of New York?
Could this be the remains of Asgard?
It could be a million things. I think they're sitting there talking, so it's clearly the scene where she explains, like, this is the plot of the show.
There's also
right?
There's like two portals over here as well.
Those could be tubes.
Oh, yeah, those could be like sewage tubes that are running from here on this side.
But there's definitely like an apocalypse. Yeah, that's what the internet is.
Well, I also
there's definitely like an apocalypse happening in the background. Like there's meteor showers, something. Like it definitely feels like this
doesn't feel like a meteor. Like that's so, unless those are just tiny meteors right there.
Well, I feel like when your world is destroyed, this could be, if you go back to the scene where like it shows the foreground is all destroyed and the moon in the background is like, it's very like Cowboy Bebop. Spoilers for Cowboy Bebop, but like, if our moon were ever to be destroyed, we'd be hit constantly with stuff from the sky. Like the earth would constantly be showered with rocks.
Right.
So I don't know, what that means, but it feels like it is an apocalypse, and it feels like that's how she knows how to hang out there. I like how I just answered my own question through the power of trailers. Very impressed. Good job, brain.
I think all of this trailer, all of this 2 minutes are from the first 3 episodes. I think all of these scenes that we have not yet witnessed in the first 2 episodes, like this one,
it's
for
only
instance,
6 episodes long, right?
Yeah, I think for them, they don't want to spoil anything that happens in the final 3. I think we're gonna get this because he's also wearing the same clothes that he was in the grocery store. So I think we're gonna see a New York where like he wins or something, and
But
she's
just
gonna show him
the,
that.
if you look at the ground, and then you look at the shot where it's him facing the other direction, it looks like the same weeds and the same background.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean this is clearly the Avengers Tower, right here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this is 100% a New York fell kind of vibe. And yeah, I mean,
this also could be a it would be absolutely insane if this is like a future where like Maestro exists and like the world is in complete disarray and there's a Hulk variant named Maestro who kind of like runs things. I don't know if they would go that route though, but they could, right? Like they very well could.
They could honestly do anything they want because
they
it's
can.
like it's just one version of reality.
Yep.
But it would like it. I think the one commonality there is that it looks like he's going to go to multiple different apocalypse level events next episode, and we know that he followed her through the portal. So I think like she might try to put the whammy on him and have it be like all of these people died, all of these horrible things happened, and Mobius lied to you. You don't have to be the side character. You're just the side character because somebody decided you are. Like, this is bigger than you. Look at all these people that are going to die and all this stuff, and you can prevent it.
Yeah. Now that we're playing the trailer game, this is clearly Lady Loki or Enchantress or whatever in the TVA fighting. TVA. Yeah, she's clearly fighting right here.
There's also a shot where it looks like it's in the room where Loki was interrogated.
Yeah.
And he straight up uses magic to blast one of the TVA people through a window. It's in the trailer.
Okay, I'll have
so
to
at
find
some point they come back to the TVA.
He's also standing up here, by the way. So it looks like he got like forced or pushed into this thing through some sort of door or portal. Let me try to find that scene that you're just talking where he's using magic.
He definitely pushes a dude through a window, and it's like purple. Like a purple window, maybe?
Wait, so then he can use magic in the TVA?
That's what I'm saying.
Or wait, does he do it physically?
I don't think this is the TVA. That's some like fucking Power Ranger Zordon shit. Like he looks like a fucking.
I guess you're right.
He looks like a fucking putty member or whatever those were.
What is?
I don't know where this is.
All right, at 131.
Look at that window.
At the top?
Yeah, look at the window in the top right. That to me looks like a Sanctum window, but I could be wrong. And we do know there's multiple of them around the world. But the design of the window.
Maybe, I mean, he definitely is.
Or it's Kang the Conqueror.
What?
Those are Kang soldiers. What is that symbol on their arm? Kang.
It says 30.
It says 30. Just the Kang.
Actually, no,
that does not say 30. It doesn't say 30. That's Kang's men. Also, slow-mo him through that window again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's glass. All right.
Yeah, it's glass. Yeah.
People were saying it was water. Let me just go to 132.
Okay. Oh, right next.
132, 130, something like that. The trailer straight up is like
this.
That's like a dig site with the rocks
these
falling
look
from
like
the sky.
These look like the exact same things that we see in the next scene with.
And then
like this is
Loki's
him,
like
right?
Dodging.
That's him, right? When he goes through the portal, I bet at the start of next
Absolutely.
episode.
Yeah. Interesting.
There's
so many things.
I don't know.
There's so many things happening in this that are like, I'm ready. I'm ready to see where we go.
We never even saw that scene, did we?
No.
For dragging the person through the. So that's, I think, the Marvel moment where they're like, "We're gonna Marvel," because we never saw that.
Yeah, we
just saw a helmet on the ground.
Did we see that? Oh, that's from the Ren Fair.
Did.
Oh, that's from the
I
Ren
don't
Fair at the end. Okay.
I don't
Or at the
remember
beginning.
actually seeing her drag her out during the Ren Fair scene.
That's when she kidnaps the C-20 or whatever that we see in the first
Yeah.
first
Oh,
opening of the
maybe.
episode when they go to the Ren Fair.
For
At
some reason, I just thought
129,
it was implied.
129, we see a very ready to fight, and then the next scene, Loki has his sword or his knives. So like that's
Yeah.
definitely they definitely decide. You're right, Bronze. They have a conversation that's like we can take them out together. They definitely go and attack the TVA for sure.
Oh yeah.
The question is whether that's the last episode or the second to last before the big reveal of like,
I don't think
oh no.
I don't think they show anything in the final 3 episodes in this. I think this is purely the first 3 episodes in this cut.
You think they're gonna fit all this stuff into episode 3?
They got
There's so much.
I mean, what else are they gonna? It's not gonna be an hour of her talking about how tragic her timeline dying is, right? Like they're gonna have some call to action.
sure.
Yeah. Here's my
But
question
then
too.
where does President Loki fit in?
That I don't know. That honestly could just be a nod to the comic, and that's it. But that's a
But,
lot.
I mean, it's in this trailer.
Yeah.
So like,
I don't know.
Okay, so hear me out.
Also, there's this scene right
Isn't
here.
it
Sorry to
isn't
interrupt
it a little weird that Mobius doesn't know where the timekeepers are, but some random TVA agent does? Doesn't that
Yeah.
lend credence to the theory that they've been brainwashed, that they all know, but they've been like reprogrammed to not remember? Because like, why would some random
Totally.
foot soldier have that information?
Yeah.
But yet Mobius doesn't have it, who's like clearly the superior officer there. Like that's interesting because it's heavily implied that Mobius has never met them. And when he's speaking to Renslayer, that he can't go meet them whenever he wants. So it's like that to me tells me that I don't know. That's just interesting. He's also so evasive every single time Loki asks him questions about the timekeepers. And he says
But
like,
no,
"Oh, you
but-
know, I don't know if I want to meet him, especially that one." And he points like one of them out.
but like knowing where they're at doesn't necessarily mean
that they've met
you know what I
them
mean?
or something.
Like yeah, like you could. I can know where to find you on the internet, Bronze, but doesn't mean like I've ever like met you. You know, like that kind of thing.
Fair.
I don't know.
I don't know. It feels weird to me that she's like
It is very weird. Absolutely. It's just yeah.
that
there's
she
a lot
has
of,
that
like-
information when the rest of them seem very much like, you know, for us all, for all time, you know, it seems really weird that she
Right.
would know. Like, so does everyone at the TVA know? If so, then prior to now, why didn't she abduct any of the other ones and wipe their minds?
I just hope if like it's one of those like it's a fraudulent deal. It's not like as disappointing as Iron Man 3 was. You know what I mean? Like I hope
What do you mean?
whatever it is, it's like fun and not just
Yeah.
like, oh cool.
We do
Wasn't
have a
real
history
guy.
of overthinking though, where we're like, there's no way that, you know, this character is the shadow broker because that would be too obvious. And they were like, no, it is. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. Well,
I still hate that. It upsets me so much. They were like,
I'll-
no, it really was exactly what you thought at episode 2. And you're like,
I love me some Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I do feel the writing's somewhat better in this.
yes, agreed.
This show. So, yeah. I don't know. The fact that we went back and watched those trailers, though, and like this scene and a couple other scenes, Jesse's. If that is all somehow in like the next episode, we're in for a fucking wild ride.
I mean, here's the thing. Normally I'd say that's impossible, but then I remember that Mad Max Fury Road, the trailer for that movie, is literally the only first 20 minutes of that film.
Right. Yeah.
The rest of that, like, when I realized that, I was like, hold on, everything in the trailer is just from the opening of this movie. When I realized that, I was like, all trailers are lies. Everything is a lie. Like this, yeah, I can believe it. It just seems like there's a lot, like set piece wise, that it feels like if that's the case, then they were like blow the budget on episode 3, right? I don't know.
Well, this is clearly Asgard, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And this could be him trying to save it. Like, if only I was in charge, I could have saved Asgard. I have no clue.
But who's he going down to meet then? Do you think like Mobius shows up?
Maybe.
Maybe he's like ultimately successful. Like, oh, he prevents the destruction of Asgard and poses himself on the throne. And then Mobius is like, oh, but in doing that, you messed up all this other stuff. Come help me fix it.
Yeah.
I can
You
see.
know what I like though? I love that this is the first show where we kind of don't have any idea what's going to happen.
Yep.
I mean,
It's so nice to not have a prequel. To have like a show that exists outside of time and space. They could do whatever they want.
I agree with you, but I also feel like I've ruined it for myself with my Jesse Cox theory of Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is in the movies, Loki gets away. So the last time a movie audience sees Loki, he gets to live again, which means Loki's alive in the movies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no matter what happens in this, he, like at the end, is still going to be fine because he gets to show back up in the movies again because there's an alternate reality Loki.
It's definitely the idea of like how though.
Right. And I think that's fun.
That's
there's at
the
least
fun
the
part.
fact that we don't know what the hell can happen because anything can happen.
Yeah. I still think that Mobius is gonna help him out, and that's like the end game of this. But I don't know.
Yeah.
I also like. Wasn't it rumored that Loki was gonna be in Thor 3? Or sorry, Thor 4? Wasn't he supposed to be in that movie? So that means that he somehow has to get out of all of the bullshit in the next 4 episodes, right? If he's going to be alive.
I mean, here's the thing. I feel like the TVA is such a fun concept that to get rid of it at the end of this series, when we know we're going to get a second season of Loki.
Yeah. I don't think they do.
I don't know. I mean, if he shows up in the movies, I don't want to say it's like Loki, TVA chief, right? I don't want to say that, but like, I don't know. I have no idea what.
I
have no clue.
don't you think like, I think they're going to keep Lady Loki in their back pocket for a while. Because wouldn't that just kind of take away the thunder of all these other characters they're having come up? Like, oh, we have Lady Thor, Lady Hawkeye, Lady Loki. Like, it's going to kind of become a joke.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm the only one in feeling that way, but I feel like it's going to become kind of oh yeah, there's a lady version of everything. You know what I mean?
Right,
like I feel like it kind of ruins like the Jane Foster Thor if there's like, oh well, every superhero has a lady version now. We got the Lady Hulk, we got the Lady Hawkeye, we got the Lady Loki, we got the Lady Thor, we got the Lady Iron Man. Lady Iron Man is a thing. Like we got all of them. We got all of them because most people don't even realize that She-Hulk is her own character, right?
Right.
So like to the smooth brains online, this is just going to be more Marvel identity politics, you know?
No, that's where I'm thinking that will.
I don't think they would gender swap all of them at the same time. I think there's probably going to be like it's going to be staggered. Because I was like just doing the lineup in my head, and I was like, are they basically? It's like all women now, or at least in the next 3 years, it'll be.
Well, they could also have Shuri be Black Panther as well. So.
Yes, yeah.
Lady Black Panther, what?
Lady Black Panther.
Lady Panther. Oh, jeez. I think you're right though. I think it makes more sense for them to be like, at the end of this arc, she's gonna be like, "Thank you," and like fade, you know, like
I'm
and
kinda,
then like I might come back eventually.
Knowing what I have read about Enchantress and chat's comments, and that the credits, and I think was the Spanish credits for Loki, which is everyone's saying is Sylvie. I think that's just Enchantress. I don't think that's Lady Loki. I think that's I think that's like the Mephisto of this series, right?
It's the Quicksilver thing again,
Yeah,
where it's like, we
yeah.
all know better, but we actually don't.
Yeah, I think that has to be Enchantress at this point.
Well, and they could mash a couple of different characters together too.
Totally,
It could
yeah.
be
Sure.
like,
Yeah.
oh, Lady Loki is Enchantress, or Enchantress is Lady Loki from a different timeline.
Yeah.
And she
that
goes
could
by
make sense.
Enchantress. I mean, that could 100% be a thing, because they don't have to follow everything that happens in the comics.
Yeah.
So they can just say Lady Loki from the alternate timeline has a slightly tweaked power set, and her name isn't. She goes by Enchantress. She doesn't like the name Loki.
Yeah.
That could be it.
It could also, because of the file that she reads, it could also be his daughter from another dimension.
Oh. Oh. Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Yeah.
A shot of him on the throne. What if there's a timeline where Loki wins, and then he like goes on to have a Loki life, and he has a kid, and then in that timeline they still lose in the end? Like in the end.
Oh, do you think this is the before the shit goes wrong?
This is like
in her
Loki
world?
got what he wanted. Loki became the king in her world, and then their world was destroyed, and she's JP, is this Final Fantasy 14? JP, did we just Final Fantasy 14 the shit out of this?
Look, it all comes back to Final Fantasy 14.
All I'm saying is,
that's all that happens.
What if she's like, I'm trying to bring back my world? We're like, dude, you're the king, and like all this stuff, and I'm trying to bring it back. And he's like, but like, if we do that, then reality, don't you get Reality Falls, lady? Like that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yo.
Could happen.
I love it.
Could happen.
I mean, that would
this
be
show just
an
14 itself.
interesting premise too, because it's also like, I'm trying to think here. When he was going through his own file, did that have like, it didn't have, well, I guess we didn't see that much of it. I wonder if that was like all the variants of Loki, or was that this Loki variant?
Right.
Because this is an important point, because it's like, if this is just all the variants of Loki, everything we know about Loki across all the multiverses, which could very well likely be the case, well then yeah, it makes sense for her file to be in there. But if it's just pertaining to this variant, then her page being in there would tend sort of like lend credence to the idea that he either created her at some point, like they do in the comics, by giving her powers, or that, that's his daughter or something like that, or sister, or, because Lofi daughter implies sister, but it could be daughter. Maybe he just chose I don't know, naming conventions for gods.
There is, when they do show the alt Lokis.
Yeah.
They were all like dudes. Some were monsters, but they were all like dude Lokis.
There was no
and
female Loki, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if that's just one of those things where it's like, because the twist is there was a female one, wink, wink, wink. Or maybe because Loki is always a dude in every timeline, and this is his kid.
Yeah, I mean, Chad is pointing out they did say that she was a Loki variant in like that first episode, right? Like Mobius very legitimately says you're hunting a Loki variant.
What if they could just lie?
Kind of Loki?
They could also just lie, 100%.
Like, what kind of Loki? Right? Just because it looks, acts, and talks like a Loki doesn't mean it's not a little Loki, like a Loki Jr. Just saying.
Could be.
Just saying.
Well, also, if I'm the TVA, I'm not going to tell someone, hey, we're hunting your daughter, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. I would lie. Yeah, I would lie.
Yeah, I would probably just lie if I'm the TVA.
There's a lot to be said for him calling her Loki, and her saying, don't call me that. That is, I feel like there's something there.
Absolutely.
Like, why is she so hesitant to give her name?
Yeah.
Or it could also just be a female Loki. I kind of like the daughter, though, because if you're going to get someone to come over to your side and say, like, you got to save this. This is a world where you turn out to be king, and I'm your daughter, and it's destroyed, and they're not letting me fix it. Fuck them. They don't have a say in this. That's how you get someone to join your side and go against the TVA later that episode.
Yeah. it's a solid plot line of just like, if you help me in this reality, not only do you win, but like I come into being, and I need, like, my reality is based on you like this outcome where you get everything you've ever wanted, Dad.
Yeah.
Like I think that's phenomenal as well as like a plot device. Then he can just be like, you know, the good old revelation of like, no, it must be the way it is. That's every time travel, everything. So it has to happen. Where he's like, no, don't you see? It must be this way. Oh, come on. I'm ready for it. Make it happen.
That would be really heart-wrenching.
Yes!
I
it's Final Fantasy 14!
That they flashed a bunch of variants. And that, you're right. Like, if it would be a 50-50 if it was a girl. And everyone's like, oh, Loki's gender fluid in mythology. Well, obviously, none of this is rooted in mythology. In mythology, Loki turns into a horse.
No, a female horse
has sex. And does that mean it's going to happen to MCU guys? According to your logic, that means we're going to get horse Loki that's going to fuck another horse and give birth to a super calf that has 8 legs. But I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm into that.
So I think like it's one of those things where it is interesting that they flashed him every variant of Loki that was a dude. But that could have just been they didn't want to spoil that they were going to introduce a female Loki. Yeah, but I also feel like they didn't do a good job hiding it.
Right.
I feel like you could tell it was a girl from episode 1.
Yeah, from frame and whatnot. But that's fine. They introduced in episode 2. It's not like it wasn't a post credits reveal in episode 6, right? Like it's a giant part of the plot for sure. So I don't know.
I would love that. I would love the idea of like the villain is, look, it's straight up Final Fantasy 14 though. The villain is just like, I'm trying to save my reality, and you know, if your reality succeeds, then my reality is doomed. Like that's a great plot line for anything, because it is heart-wrenching where it's like, you know, no matter who wins, someone loses terribly. Isn't like just like, you know, the Schwarzenegger film where it's like, I like you, so I kill you last, and like he fights a bunch of dudes. Like this is like reality is gone.
Yeah,
I think it's a phenomenal plot line.
I agree. I'm trying to I don't know what I think the next episode is going to be the setup for the rest of the show. I really think it is. Like I really think we're going to learn like how this goes 2 seasons. I think we're going to learn you know, everything in essence. Potentially in the first like 15 minutes of the episode. I think it's going to be a long drawn out conversation between the two of them, and then couldn't tell you where the next 45 minutes go. I have no fucking idea where we're headed after watching some of those trailer stills. Yeah, I don't know where we're headed, which is exciting to circle back to what Bronze said. Like, I think in WandaVision, we didn't necessarily know where it was headed, but we kind of did. This one, it truly feels like they could fucking do anything. They could.
What a time to be alive, though, because I feel like I've liked every show more than the predecessor.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100% for me as well.
What a time to be alive.
It's good. And then we can all get real hyped for Black Widow on July 9th.
People are saying Kingdom Hearts, and all I'm gonna let you know is,
oh God,
technically it could happen.
It could.
And just imagine if one of those portals opens, it's like, come on, Loki.
It's just Mickey Mouse hanging out with Loki.
Oh boy!
I would love if they did that, where he like entered into a cartoon world or something like that. And
that's
it's
why the
Loki.
cereal makes sense. Cartoon Loki cereal. It's all coming together.
Hey, maybe that's where Miss Minutes come from. It's Cartoon World.
Oh my God.
It's Cartoon World.
Yeah, Miss Minutes and Mickey are dating. Oh my God.
Could be.
That's where it's at. And he's like, well, what about Minnie? And he's like, I left her. She's got lots of problems. Right?
It's true. Could happen.
I think it'd be amazing.
Could happen.
Frankly, I'm here for it. Because he's edgy Mickey, because he has like the cloak, but the cloak has zippers for some reason. He's like, it's like, come on. You've got to put your heart into it, Loki. It'd be amazing. All I'm saying is, let's do it.
Jesse's in. He's in.
I'm in.
Kingdom Hearts cross MCU. It's happening. It's happening. On that note, we've run out of good ideas, and we're gonna call the show. Which generally is how the show ends if we have any new viewers. We will be back next Monday, of course, discussing episode 3. Is there time? So we have an episode 3 on the 23rd, 4 on the 30th. So there is one episode after. Oh my God. The final episode and Black Widow will both be covered on the 14th.
So
Oh, wait.
3-hour show is what I'm hearing.
Wait, no, the 5th episode airs on the 7th. The
Still a 3-hour
6th
show.
episode airs on the 14th.
Well, I'll make sure I pack a snack. And get so excited to hang out with 2 of my favorite people to nerd out about things on the internet with.
Very nice. Very nice way to say that, bro.
Like, one of us is more your favorite, though, right? Than the other. Like, I mean, if you had to pick, like, one of us is more your favorite?
Well, much like Ravonna Renslayer, one of my analysts is preferred, but I'll never say which one.
Ah.
But, like, we all know which one, though. Like, we all know. We just don't want to say, right?
Whatever could you mean?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I will just say this.
just don't
They
wanna
have
say.
facial hair and glasses.
You son of a...
Fuck.
You just described the entire internet. Every
What if
white dude on the
JP
internet is like,
and
me?
Jesse are variants of the same person.
No, he's definitely a variant of me. This is the classic variant.
The ginger variant.
Yeah, he's the ginger variant of me. Yeah, I'm vanilla
What am I
JP. He's
I'm Ginger JP.
you're ginger JP.
I'm JJ. I'm GJ.
J
You're
Ginger
JP
P.
and I'm GJ.
You're J Ginger P. That's
I'm
it.
GJP. GJP. Sucks. That's a sucky one. I
You're-
got that
you're-
crappy one.
You're GP. That's your name. You're GP. I'm JP. You're GP.
I'm GP. Oh my
Yeah.
god, Ginger P. Are we like the Spice Girls, but what are the P's?
Yes.
I'm JP.
Yep.
I'm GP.
Yep.
Bronze is BP. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
Black Panther.
This sucks.
Yes.
This is the worst thing we've ever done.
Bronze. Do some shout outs for us so we can get out of here.
Mhm.
Stop saying stupid stuff.
Hi, hello. When I am not being chaotic on the internet and sowing dissent in the cast, I am streaming full-time online. You can find me on Twitter and on Twitch at ThatBronzeGirl. I DM a D&D game on Tuesday nights at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which usually goes up on YouTube by now, but I had an issue with my export, so didn't happen today, but it'll be up in an hour or so.
You know, they say some like 70% of people have issues with exports, so it's okay. Yeah, all right. It's okay. You know?
Is that a variant problem for us? Is
Yeah.
this something we have to worry about as variants? Is that
Yeah.
all right?
Yeah.
All right.
Jesse, where can people check your stuff out?
Oh boy. Hey, if you want to see all the different things, Jesse Cox literally everywhere except on Instagram, which is Notorious COX. And yeah, I do a bunch of stuff. For some reason, over the last month, there have been GIFs of me on Twitter that I've discovered exist. If you
Nice.
type in Jesse Cox on Twitter, there's like a shit ton from all the things I've ever done, which is wild, dating back like 10 years. So that's pretty interesting. I don't know how those showed up. Shout out to whoever did that. And yeah, if you want to have a good laugh, we just did a Gentleman's Gaming Club on Cyberpunk that's up on the old YouTube. And it's us. I played on PC and my dear friend played on PS4, and it's the exact video you think it's like. If you followed along what's going on, it's exactly what you think it would be. And then coming up this week is a Final Fantasy 14 versus WoW video I'm working
Ooh.
on, and that'll be up on Saturday.
Nice.
So I'm spending all week working on gathering footage to make that like real sparkle. So there you go. That's it from me.
How long is that video going to be? Do you know yet?
Let me
Can I watch it
I'm
on
still-
stream? Do you mind?
yeah, that's fine. It's
Okay.
it's like I
Don't
don't know.
DMCA me,
Right
dude.
now-
Don't DMCA me, Jesse.
Right now it's like 25 minutes
Oh, okay.
based
that's not
on
too
the
bad.
audio, but we'll see. Yeah, I didn't there's a moment in the video I was like, look, I could do this all day. There's so much to talk about, but here's the basic gist. Like,
Okay.
like that kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, that's what comments exist for. Right, the things I missed in the comments. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, look forward to that. That's going to do it for the MCU crew today. Thank you guys so much. We'll be discussing episode 3 next Monday. We hope you join us. That'll be at noon Eastern, as we have a show every single Monday. We got content at least up until the 17th of July. And then we might have to go back to those ranking episodes where we just talk about
We
ranking.
should rank.
Yeah.
Or rewatch. I'm just putting it out there.
We could do a rewatch. We'll take a look at the
chronological
calendar.
rewatch,
Because, like, I don't...
and then
Yeah.
discuss each one.
I think we have
That would
like
be
2
cool.
or 3 months of... When does What If start? I think What If is in between now and then, between the Eternals or whatever. So there's at least that. But yeah, we could probably do a rewatch. It's been...
A rewatch of Iron Fist.
What if is August 2021? Here's the thing. I would rewatch.
I'll rewatch
I
it,
would do.
but those shows are
I
not
would
going
do
to
a
be good.
live watch through with the. If we did like a thing
With audio
where we could-
muted, where we just react.
Yes. Yes, of just
Oh my
that
God.
series. Holy crap!
How many episodes of Iron Fist are there? There's 2
We would
seasons,
have to
right?
pause just so I could roll my eyes. You know? Could you imagine a live watch along with the audio muted? We all sync up of Iron Fist. Oh
I would
my God.
Genuinely
We
love
could
that.
do it.
I would bring the booze and have a great time.
I
I
would
would
have to be
love that.
drunk. I feel like I would cringe into a new reality. Like it'd just be like their live reactions would be hilarious.
We could do it.
Yeah, a lot of people would finally watch it for the first time. I bet
Yeah.
they would be like, "All right, I'll watch." I would be down. Plus, you said you hadn't seen the rest of it. You got 4 episodes in and stopped.
No!
I would love for you to see how it ends. Holy shit, I
Dude,
love
that
that.
is-
Person, we're gonna have to pause. I'm gonna have to pause and be like, wait, because I'm that person. I'm so obnoxious to watch stuff with where I'm like, pause. What
We'll
the
give you
fuck is
control. We'll just let you have
this?
control.
What is this?
Here's
That's
the
me.
thing.
Where I'm
Love
like,
this.
why would they do that? They
Here's
should.
the thing.
Why?
There's 23 episodes of Iron Fist across 2 seasons.
I'd watch
That's
all
23 hours
with you.
worth of content.
I would go through. I would do it. I would for this show. I would make that happen.
Oh my God.
I just want to see Bronze fall apart, both mentally and physically. Like just
There-
like break down.
There
Just like
are
get really angry and upset. Oh, I'd be here for that.
there are definitely
Oh,
ways.
there would be that.
There are definitely ways to have someone be in control. We could just let Bronze be in control of the stopping and starting.
I would
could do
love.
it.
I would love every minute of that.
We could do it.
At one point, the headphones are gonna come flying off, and I'm going to stomp around this set, just stomp back and forth.
We could do it.
I love that.
It's gonna
I think
be
it's
like-
amazing.
It's gonna be like episode 15 when we're like 30 minutes in, where I'm like, no.
I feel like we'll be episode 1 if we're being
All
real.
I'm saying is, we got a whole month before anything new comes out.
I think
That's
I think we
prime
do.
goof time.
Yeah,
That is what like can Bronze make it through one episode of Iron Fist?
we could do it.
We just sit here and watch like mm-hmm.
We could definitely do it. We'll chat. We'll let you guys know. We've got some time to figure it out. We might just do that.
Yeah.
It could happen. Thank you
Now,
guys
that's
so
a fun
much
thing.
for joining me, Jesse and Bronze. Appreciate your time. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back next Monday with more MCU Crew, 12 p.m. Eastern, discussing episode 3 of Loki and whatever else comes out between now and then in the world of news. We'll see you guys then. Have a good one. Bye-bye.